Tommy and Lois Hadder, to me, were exceptional people. Based one in a million, or two in a million, however you want to say it.
Tommy and Lois Hadder were a beautiful couple in our congregation.
Oh, they had a huge impact on my children.
When we adopted our wonderful children, they just took them in.
Lois was what we call the baby whisperer.
She loved baby Jeremy, and when he would fuss during church, we would just pass him up to her.
And she had a way. We never could understand it, especially considering she didn't have the children of her own, but she just had a touch, and a compassion about her for children that would just immediately calm them down. It was something to behold.
One of the things we loved to say about Tommy was that he was a human concordance. He knew his Bible inside and out, and one of the reasons he did was because he was a prisoner of war in the Korean War, and he was there for approximately 2.5 years, and the only thing that they allowed him to keep was his little Bible. They tore out the American flag and handed the Bible back to him, and they let him have it, and he knew his scriptures back and forth, and he could relate one to the other.
You know, Tommy served his country, but even more importantly than that, Tommy would tell you that he tried to serve the Lord.
I was inspired by Tommy and Lois because of how simply and humbly they lived.
Tommy and Lois inspired me with their faithfulness to Christ and with the way they lived their lives.
They served the Lord, and they never asked for credit for anything. They never pushed their name in the spotlight. They just lived, and they lived according to one of Tommy's favorite scriptures, which says, the grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of the Lord stands forever. Those were not just words to him, that's how he lived his life.
When we as a session had found out that we were going to get this endowment from Lois and Tommy, immediately we began racking our brains for how can we best honor their memory.
It didn't take much for the thought process to move to children. When you think about them and their faith, to be instilling faith in children is just perfect.
Louisa Presbyterian has had a long relationship with Camp Hanover for a number of years, and to us as a session, it was a no-brainer. It was heaven sent, and when we took it to our congregation, we had full support behind the gift.
My first impression when the session was considering giving money out of the endowment to Camp Hanover, I actually had tears in my eyes because I knew how pleasing that would be to Tommy and Lois. Knowing how much they cared about children, I thought this was going to be the perfect way to honor their memory.
I attended camp when I was probably my daughter's age, 9 or 10 years old, and I was gone for a whole week, and that's the first time I'd been away from my parents for a whole week. So naturally, I was kind of scared. But at the same time, about halfway through the week, I was like, oh, this is great. I just had a great time at camp, sitting around the campfire at night, talking about Jesus, singing praise songs. It was something I'll never forget.
I was a bit of a shy person that didn't like to go to overnight camps, but my daughter is very outgoing, and she would love to come to Camp Hanover. And so we personally are waiting for the access road before overprotective mommy will let her come. So as soon as this road is built, Abby's coming next summer.
This gift that Louisa Presbyterian is giving for this road on behalf of Tommy and Lois Hadder, out of their endowment, gives them honor. I personally cannot think of a better way for churches to give to Camp Hanover. I mean, this is about the children. This is about their experience, them growing up to learn about Christ. So, given that fact, I would challenge any church. Please, give to Camp Hanover. Let's make this capital campaign. Let's bring it to a finish.
We're so thankful to Tommy and Lois Hadder and to the members of Louisa Presbyterian Church for their faithfulness and this tremendous gift that they've given to Camp Hanover to provide for an access way down to the lake, Hadder Way. And so we're really excited today to have our official groundbreaking. So are you all ready? Yes. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.